All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Ruach Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so today I wanted to continue on and talking about some things that this guy William Bell had said in a debate between he and Sakari. He said a lot, and like I said before, you could take each piece of the conversation and make them into separate lessons. So that's what I'm trying to do here. But if you watch the beginning when William Bell gave his introduction, he made the statement that eschatology is the teaching of the transition from one covenant, from the old covenant into the new covenant. And I said, I'm gonna talk about that and show that, again, that all prophecy hasn't been fulfilled, and that we are indeed still, coming upon the judgment, the final judgment of the Heavenly Father, and the ushering in of the Lord Yahushai's kingdom. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about the word covenant, right? Now, if you let's do it this way. I got it pulled up already. Right. So when you go to the Google definition, of covenant, you'll see here it means an agreement, right? Agreed by lease, deed, or other legal contract, right? So normally, when you have an agreement, right? I hope this is common knowledge to understand. When you have an agreement, it has to be between two or more parties, right? Or else, you don't have to have a covenant or an agreement with yourself. Chances are, more than likely, you're already in agreement with yourself. Right, so a covenant has to be between two or more parties, right? So when you look at that, you got to ask yourself, who did the Heavenly Father make the covenant with, right? So you can go into the covenant that He made, right? Because they'll say that the new covenant is now being removed from the children of Israel, and now the whole world has the opportunity for salvation, right? So what I wanted to talk about first was there is a covenant that was made between the Heavenly Father and everyone, right? And I wasn't gonna do this. I just thought of this right now. Let me I think I can just easily I'll just put the word in again, because there was a covenant that was made between the Heavenly Father and the whole world, right? Or all flesh. Right here. I'll start here. I'll start at 8. This is Genesis 9:8, and it says, "And the Most High spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. neither shall there be any more neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth, right? So that was the covenant that he made with the whole world, right? But this other covenant, right, that William Bell alluded to, was a covenant between specific parties, right? Because he talked about transitioning from the old covenant into the new covenant, right? So we have to find out who the specific covenant or that specific agreement was made with, right? So I'll go to this is 15, and I will start at 17. It says, and it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, right? So this was the first promise that he made to Abram here, but later who became Abraham, right? He made a covenant with him, and what was the agreement? That all the land that Abraham could see, right? All the land from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, right? That land would belong to him and his children after him, right? That was the first promise that he made with Abraham. Okay, so again, this is a specific person that this agreement is being made with. Now with the first one, right, he made it clear, I'm not going to destroy any living creature with waters anymore. And again, the token of that covenant is what? The rainbow, right? The bow that was put up in the sky, that was a token of that covenant, right? But this one, he's specific, right? I'm making a covenant between me and you, Abraham, and your children after you, right? So I want to go to this next one. It's in Genesis 17. I'll just do it this way, okay? And I'll start at 1, and then I'll bounce around here a little bit, and then I want to jump to 19. So this is Genesis 17:1. It says, and when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power. Walk before me and be thou perfect, right? And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations, right? So you got this agreement, right? Of course, there's conditions to any agreement, right? So what did he say? Look, I'm the Most High. Walk before me and be thou perfect, right? Just be perfect. Walk before me. Separate yourself from what the rest of the world is doing, right? And when you do that, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, right? Those are the conditions. If you do this for me, I'll do this for you, right? So let me keep reading a little bit. It says, and Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, right? So one could say, what? That, see, this is talking about a covenant for the whole world, right? Because Abraham is being made a father of many nations, right? Many kings shall come out of him, and it happened. That actually happened. You had Ishmael that came out of him, right? And they became kings in their own right? You had Israel that came out of him, and they became kings in their own right. right? So this happened, right? But the covenant is still specific, and I'll show you. I'll jump to verse 19, right? Or should I start at? I'll start at 17. It said, then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, actually, I'll jump up a little bit. I'll start at 15, right? It says this. It says, and the Most High said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Okay. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto the Most High, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee, right? So look, Abraham said, look, I'm not going to be able to have no more kids. I'm an old man. My wife is an old woman, right? Here it is. I got this son, Ishmael. Why can't he be the heir, right? Why can't he be the one who's this promise is going to fall on, right? The Lord gets specific, right? So look, he says, and the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. You see? So it transferred. First he made the promise to Abraham, and he let Abraham know that the next seed, right, that this promise or this covenant is going to fall on is your son Isaac. You see? So he was specific with this covenant. He was specific with this agreement or this pact that was being made, right? Continuing on, it says, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, though, will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee, at this set time in the next year. You see? And he left off talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham. You see? So he was very specific about that covenant, right? And we know, right, through a series of events that covenant then fell on the man Jacob, who was later, his name was later changed to Israel, right? Now you can argue how Jacob got the covenant, right? But this was already set in stone, right? And that's another topic in itself, right? So we know that from Abraham, the original covenant was made, and through process of time, that covenant or that promise or that agreement fell on Isaac, and then through time, that agreement and that covenant fell on Jacob, and then Jacob's 12 sons. Okay, right? So when you go into, as a matter of fact, let me do this. Exodus, the second chapter. Right? When you go to Exodus, the second chapter, and you come down here. So if you read the story, right? The children of Israel had a hard bondage by the hand of Pharaoh, right? Now, the original Pharaoh that knew Joseph was kind unto the Israelites. But as time wore on, the pharaohs that came after Joseph's death were hard on the children of Israel, right? And this is what happened, okay? I'll start at 23. It says, and it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto the Most High by reason of the bondage, right? It says this, and the Most High heard their groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. Okay? So that's who that covenant was made with, right? And what was one of the conditions, right? One of the conditions of that covenant was what? That Abraham was supposed to do what? that he was supposed to be perfect, that he was supposed to walk in righteousness, right? And then what happened when it fell on the children of Israel, we ended up breaking that covenant. We broke the agreement, right? Matter of fact, let me see. This is Hebrews 8:8. Let me go in here. Check this out, right? This is Hebrews 8:7. It says, "For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah." You see? So that new covenant is still that same specified covenant that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see? It's there's no transition from the old covenant into the new, and that would be unto the whole world, and it would be seen, right? The fulfillment of the covenant, the fulfillment of the promise would be seen. It's not something that's going to be hidden, where some parts of the world might know about it and some parts of the world may not. It's going to be a great event that happens when that covenant is fulfilled, right? So let me go to something else, right? Let me show you to go along with this. This is is it Genesis? No, what is that? Deuteronomy 28, right? I'll show you, right? Deuteronomy 28:1. It says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. And these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power." You see? So, and what happened? Right? We ended up breaking these covenants. We broke those laws, statutes, and commandments that the Heavenly Father gave us, right? So what happened was, now that covenant or that agreement is null, right? Matter of fact, let's do that, right? Right? So when you look up this word, sorry, I was looking at my phone there. So when you look up this word "null," right, it says having no legal or binding force, invalid, right? Having or associated with the value 0, right? So let's do this. Make legally null or void, invalidate, right? Judges were unwilling to nullify government decisions. Make of no use or value. Cancel out, right? So by us not keeping our side of the agreement, right, the original covenant was nullified, right? Because just like it says, let me go back to Hebrews, right? Why was it nullified, right? For finding fault with them, right? So now, because that original agreement was nullified, a new one had to be established, right? Matter of fact, I'll keep reading. It says, "Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not," right? Or nullified the agreement, right? Saith the Lord. "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people," right? So that couldn't have happened already, because we would be keeping the laws naturally. There wouldn't be a reason for being taught what's righteousness. right? Especially amongst, well, I'll say this, specifically amongst the children of Israel, because we're going to have those things written in us. You see? You see? So that original agreement was nullified. Why? Because one party didn't keep their end of the bargain. This is why the Lord Yahushua had to come and die to reconcile that agreement, to reconcile that covenant. Right? Matter of fact, let's look up that word in here real quick. Let's see what we get. Right. Boom. 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 Let's go up one. See. All right. So I'll start at 19. It says, "For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him, I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven." You see? So by the Lord dying, that agreement or that covenant was reconciled. Right? Let's look that up.
Strong's G 604, apakatalasa. Apakatalasa.
Right? To reconcile completely, to reconcile back again. Right? Let's go back to Hebrews again. Right? "For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Jacob." Right? So to reconcile back again, bring back a former state of harmony. You see? You see? That's what the transition from the old covenant to the new covenant is. A reconciling of the nation of Israel back to the Heavenly Father. Right? That's what Hosea the 2nd chapter was talking about. The Heavenly Father getting back with his girl after they had a falling out. You see? So that's, matter of fact, yeah, that's it. That's it. With that, I hope that was edifying. Again, I just pulled that from some things that that guy William Bell said in the debate. Until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well, and honor and salutations to those of you who are the hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.